Anyways, next day at Big's, Carrie's whole MO was to pretend like nothing happened, like Fartgate didn't happen.
Fartgate.
Meanwhile, Big, he pranks her and like puts a whoopee
Yeah.
cushion down and like they have a laugh about it. It was cute. Now that same night, Carrie wants to have sex with Big. So she's like saddling up to him and he's like, oh, I'm exhausted, and rolls over and goes to sleep. And this was their first night where they've slept together but didn't like have sex. They just shared the bed. By the next week, it happened 3 times in a row.
3 times. Yep.
So now Carrie's like freaking out. And she goes out with Miranda. And Miranda, she's at her own issue because she hasn't had sex in 3 months.
Which apparently is like a very long time.
For her, I guess. Yeah. And Carrie's like, they're playing like the who has it worse. Carrie's like, it's worse.
Russian Olympics.
Yeah, Russian Olympics. She's like, well, I have it worse because I'm with someone and we're not doing it. And then she shares the whole farting thing. And this is where she calls Big her boyfriend for the first time. And she's just been living in shame because Big is so perfect, as she says. And she's now like less than perfect, basically.
She's human. Yeah.
She's human. And yeah, wonders if them not having sex but sleeping in the same bed is the fart to blame. Is that normal? Like she's all in her head. So she's wondering, her question, how much sex is normal? Like what's going on? She does all these little street interviews with people with a range. One guy's masturbating 3 times a day.
That seems like you have an issue.
Too much. Yeah, that seems like too much a day. And he said to make it through the day.
Through like in the office bathroom.
Yeah.
Which probably happens more than we think.
I'm sure. I'm definitely sure. It's like these finance guys. They had him dressed up in a suit, like he was like a Wall Street guy, like just filled up with pressure and tension all day. Like I'm sure it's like a cigarette break for them. Just go jack off in the toilet or something. Wow, very disturbing to think about. But
I don't
know. I think men do a lot of gross shit. So
I think so too. Yeah, real estate, that Owning Manhattan show.
Oh my God, yes.
I know they jacking off for those.
They have to.
That they're showing.
It's a high pressure job, Gotta let out some steam. God. Anyways, Samantha and Carrie, they go to a yoga class. And Carrie's telling Samantha everything that's going on. And Samantha says what's normal is the halfway point between what you want and what you can get.
My girl, giving out gems.
Giving out gems. I think that makes a lot of sense. And however, Samantha does think it's weird that they are sleeping together but not having sex. And she says sex is a barometer for what's going on in your relationship.
I would like to quote the doctor, the Reverend, the Holy One, Orna Galarnik.
Oh, yes.
Sex is the life of the couple. Whoever is holding on to the flame of sex is holding on to the life of the couple. And there's a burden in that. Season 4, episode 7.
Okay.
Of Couples Therapy.
Yeah.
Immediately I thought of that quote because when she said that there are times when there is like in a partnership, right? When you're 50-50 or in a partnership in general, right? You're supposed to be moving along together. There are times when you don't. There are times when one falls behind and one is ahead. Right. And there are times when your partner could respond to things like stress, work. We just talked about finance guys who were jerking off in the bathroom. There could be other times when a woman has a baby after and they are not thinking about sex at all. Right. And so whoever's holding on to that sex life is holding on to the flame of the cut. That is so much pressure to hang on to that Carrie is reacting to and that we see Carrie spiral in because she's holding on to the life of her relationship. Same with Charlotte.
Yeah, that definitely struck the barometer of what's going on in the relationship. I think there's definitely some truth to that.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And then Samantha thinks the farting thing was like that was a big mistake. You should have never farted. Men don't like women who are human. Like you can't fart, you can't use tampons, you can't do any of that stuff.
Yeah, you can't use tampons. It's hilarious.
What?
I think that Carrie should take the advice. She takes a lot of advice from Miranda directly because Miranda's nicer to her. I think that Samantha gives out the best advice for Big because Big and Samantha think about sex the same way.
Same. Yeah.
So I think that she should actually take her advice more.
I think what was missing here because in this moment I thought Samantha was giving Carrie the ill setup with this advice.
Oh.
But I think it's because she doesn't know that Carrie is already not feeling her full self around Big.
But also in love.
But is also in love, right? So you're in love, whatever, but you don't feel fully comfortable with this man. So telling her to continue to hide yourself is not great advice. Not her problem. She doesn't know the full context from Carrie, but yeah, I thought that was, rough.
Yeah.
But I just know my man, so I don't know. But how much do men care about a woman if she farts or like, is this something that we psychologically ourselves are like, oh, I'm not a lady?
No.
Or are men really like, oh God, the fuck?
I think it depends on the capacity of the relationship that you're in. I think if you are in a situationship, you are both of each other's perfect little angels.
Yeah, you're on edge. Yeah,
and you are not your full self. You are your best self. And so
and only your best
and
self.
only. Yep.
Yeah, true. So yeah, after class, Samantha obviously invites the hot yoga teacher out for coffee.
Yoga teacher, yeah.
Learns that he's practicing tantric celibacy and gave up sex 3 years ago.
I think that's what Lenny Kravitz is doing. Did you read that he's been celibate for 9 years? 9 years.
9 years?
He's been
Lenny
on a Brazilian
Kravitz?
ranch with
He's
all
been to
that
that
hair
ranch, yeah.
and that 8-pack, working out in those leather legging jeans.
The hot hat oh my God.
And not having sex for 9 years.
What? Yeah, he seems like he would be in that world. Yeah.
I think that's why. I think he's had enough sex for the rest of his life.
And he's done. He's done. He's like tired. God. So yeah, this guy hasn't had sex and it's the best thing ever. Like his life has never been better. And so Samantha, of course, is like curious because as they're talking about not having sex, it's making her even feel more sexual energy. Yeah. So she's like, oh, this is nice. That night, Carrie and Charlotte go out to dinner. Charlotte thinks, unlike Samantha, sex is not the most important thing. And says, case in point, me and Kevin have been together for a couple of weeks. We haven't done it yet. He respects my boundaries, blah, blah, blah. Kevin joins them for dinner. Turns out Kevin and Carrie used to, quote unquote, go out, which we learn later. He was a sex maniac.
Yep.
And that's probably why Carrie broke up with him. It was too much. So that night, Charlotte and Kevin go back to his place. And Charlotte's more turned on now more than ever because she's like, oh my God, he was a sex maniac.
Yes.
He's been restrained.
He's saving me.
He's saving himself for me. Like
the immediate romance that she jumps to.
Oh my God.
She's crazy.
Jumps off the cliff. Jesus. And yeah, they are starting to get into it. And then he just stops immediately and is like, oh, this isn't going to work. I'm not that sexual of a guy. And reveals that he's on Prozac and it's impacted his sex drive and he just doesn't really care. And he also just feels a lot better. So
that doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make much sense, but sure. Anyone on Prozac, let us know in the comments.
I just don't think anybody who is in a sexual situation, who is especially someone on medication and can't perform for their partner, is happier.
Is fine about it. Yeah.
I don't think.
Especially when you used to have a lot of sex and clearly used to love sex.
Right.
So, not sure. Now Carrie's at home pacing up and down about not having sex with Big, and she looks out the window and sees this couple across the way fully
getting it with no curtains.
No curtains, just out here.